Welcome back to another episode of Ball IQ Podcast. Recording this after the Champions League final. Go ahead.
Nelson, Chelsea fan. It's a beautiful day out today. Birds chirping, sun's out. Um, what a great day, right?
It was a good. It was a good day. Champions League final to Real Madrid fan. Successful hate watch for this guy watching Arsenal lose 4-3 on pens to PSG. PSG first Champions League win back to back winners since my beloved Real Madrid in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You have a song for them?
You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that.
Nelson has been rehearsing that song since before kickoff.
It's not easy. Beating PSG in the summertime is not easy, and not everybody can do it. Credits to Arsenal for a hard fought game. There are moments of that, large swaths of that game where I was concerned as to what the outcome would be. I had no idea.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
we'll get into it today.
yeah, we'll get into it. We'll just jump straight into the deep dive portion and like see how both teams set up. Apart from actually, nothing really surprised us really in terms of the starting lineup. I think that I specifically was hoping for Fabian Ruiz to play so that he could free up Kvaratskhelia on the right. We knew Dembélé was going to start. We knew Hakimi would be ready. We knew Due would start. We knew Vitinha and Jalmanji would start. We knew Pacho and Marquinhos will hold the fourth with Nuno Mensch while Hakimi goes up and Nuno, what's his name? João Neves and Vitinha will kind of pull the strings, and we knew all front three would kind of rotate, and Fabian Ruiz would try and exploit spaces here. And for Arsenal, we knew like they would sit deep. Luis Kelly, who I thought was very, very, very good for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I thought he wasn't afraid of the ball. He wasn't afraid to ask for the ball. I thought that I don't know how his legs were in terms of fitness, but I would have wanted to see him play the whole game for Arsenal. Luis Kelly and Declan in the middle, Odegaard playing. I wanted Eze to play on the left, but Trossard didn't do too bad. He had the unknowing assist for Havertz. We knew Havertz. I knew Havertz was going to start. I knew Havertz was going to score, and score he did. And what a goal he scored! Um, and obviously Saka on the right. Now, the thing that we called out last game was PSG's left, Arsenal's right.
Right.
Musquera and Saka did a very good job with Vicha for pretty much the whole of the first half.
Yeah.
Fabian Ruiz was, in and around to try and like create cover. Sometimes Nuno Mendes would come to create cover, but they did a great job protecting Musquera until the second half.
Yeah, no, I'm one of the things I was saying many times in the first half was just like, where's the space? Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia typically feasts on through balls or balls over the top.
Yep.
There was no moment whenever he got the ball and he was getting closer to the box. It was Saka in his face, most importantly, and Mosquera there as well with position. So it was very interesting to see PSG Arsenal kind of unsettle PSG to the point where it didn't look like PSG.
Yeah,
it looked like, it looked like a completely different game, which was it played in Arsenal's hands.
Yeah, and Arsenal did a great job in terms of like holding that mid block, knowing when to drop. I thought Arteta would trust Havertz more, and I thought that Havertz would score. But you could tell towards the end of the game, especially actually not even towards the end of the game, like the first 5 minutes of the second half, Havertz was gassed because he was the release for their press. So they're always looking for him to hold up the ball. That's not his. Holding up, playing back to goal is hard enough.
Right.
But Havertz can't do that as well as Gyökeres.
No.
When
he does run out of energy, he becomes quite the minus on the pitch. That's kind of what we saw the first 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of the second half. Gyökeres was brought on to kind of give them two big men up top
Yeah.
towards the middle of the second half. Sorry to move the camera.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
So one of the things that I noticed about that game from both managers that I kind of was shocked at, we were watching the game and we could tell when one of the players maybe should have been subbed,
Yeah.
and it took a while
It's too long, yeah.
for those substitutions to
You're
occur,
right.
which was and when they did, I don't want to say the damage was done. Nobody really got fully punished for that. The penalty that was conceded, in my opinion, maybe Mosquera could have come off earlier because I think they were both on
On
yellows.
yellows.
We said that right before the penalty was
Yep.
conceded, and I think right after he got away without getting a
Getting
second
second yellow,
yellow,
yeah. He
they
got
took him
subbed
off.
off, yeah.
So you
And
know,
yeah,
kind of like took him a moment to get punished first before those changes were made. So
made, yeah. And even I guess speaking of the yellow cards, Saka coming off, I mean it was a big call, but to be fair, Madueke was kind of as effective, if not more dangerous than Saka.
he was more attack minded,
Yes.
obviously, than Saka, because Saka can do bits back there if need be, as we saw last year and the year prior. But when Noni came on, he definitely added a level of flair and attack minded play that Arsenal started to lack. I think
Yeah.
right after Kai, it was abundantly clear that Kai was tired.
Yep.
You know, Nani was probably their most attacking threat last 20-25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the second half, like we said earlier, they did a great job covering Muscara, and I think Muscara and Saka were just right out of fuel when I believe it was Nuno Mendes that came and did a 1-2 with Vicha, and Muscara was
Yeah.
late and cost the pen. I thought that obviously Vicha, I don't think he beat Muscara once, but it was obvious that when Vicha came in and it was just Nuno Mensch facing up with Musquera, that's he had no help because
Mm.
Saka was like, okay, fine. My assignment is to come to you when Vicha is with you, but if Vicha is not with you, handle your
Yeah.
business, and he did not.
Yeah.
So I thought that was also interesting. In the second half, I mean, the probing was going to be there. I think I was telling you, like, okay, yes, Arsenal are organized, good mid block to low block, not giving chances away. You called out when we were watching the game. PSG barely had touches in the box and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. To your point about the ultimately the penalty that was conceded, watching that PSG game, just looking at how their Saka and Mosquera handled that assignment,
Yeah,
I don't think there was a way I saw for PSG to score other than what you just mentioned
yeah,
with a player playing kind of out of position, doing something special in the moment, and that's what Nuno Mendes was doing, trying to push the ball all the way up. He ran out of steam
yeah.
towards the end of the game, but again, credit to um, Arsenal's left hand side
You
to
paused to
yeah.
say before you said Arsenal. You can't even say credit to
Yeah,
Arsenal.
whatever.
Yeah,
But credit to them for, I thought that was the Achilles. Came into this game thinking that was going to be the Achilles heel for the
yeah.
squad, and it took several waves of a barrage of attacks
Hmm.
down that side to kind of wither them down. So yeah,
Yeah, and I was obviously like I said in earlier, Due trying to find the game sometimes before coming back. Due, I actually like him. He's very aggressive. You can tell like he was having fun. He was like he wasn't really. He didn't look nervous.
no,
Yeah, it was
what
just
pressure?
no pressure. It was
Pressures for
yeah.
tires.
I think out of the front three, actually, I think he had the best game out of all of them.
Yeah, and he played the full game, did he not?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
He did. He played the full
yeah.
game. Speaking of full game, when Vicha came off after that, like 1v1, not 1v1, but like when he was running down the wing and I think it deflected off Maglesh Gabriel
Mm-hmm.
and hit the post. You could tell like he couldn't run anymore, and they brought in
Yeah,
Bakola. And how many times when Arsenal were off the pitch? At least two times, I believe, where Arsenal were off the pitch and Bakola was
free.
free against Saliba. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he was free.
punish him,
If
punish
Kavicha
him.
had those chances,
Goal 3-1.
I mean, the net would have had a hole in it. That's
Yeah.
the type of clinic that he puts on when you give him that type of space.
Yeah.
And I think Barcola's. I mean, I was very impressed with his speed, but obviously that's a
Yeah.
big part of his game.
Yeah.
But in terms of composure and finish, he lacked that
Clinically,
panache.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he
Um,
does. He
so
does lack it.
you know, it was that did open up, but it was by that time the threat had kind of it wasn't as big of a deal because Barcola was kind of like he's kind of like giving the 3 point shot to somebody who you know is not going to make
Naked, yeah,
it. Like
yeah,
kind of, but again, very
yeah.
very
I mean, I think this game just shows why he doesn't start. Right. Even I remember the Champions League final where he like did some. I mean, last year. I mean, against Inter when he did something, he jinked some. I think it wasn't Bastoni he jinked. I can't remember. He jinked somebody, and like it was just easy finish and he misses. So
yeah
this is kind of like something that an area of his game that he needs to improve.
yeah
Um, Interesting that Arsenal's changes came at the expense of. Well, interesting was Saka because of he was a big name, but we kind of sort of understood that. But
yeah
bringing off Martin Odegaard for Gyökeres and playing a front two was not what I was expecting Arsenal to do. They didn't do it for long because every time they sent the ball long, and either Gyökeres or Havertz, either they lose the ball, there was always a free man in PSG's midfield, and that's why those chances came for Barcola
yeah
that did. But I know I was saying it during the game how difficult it is playing back to goal for Gyökeres. Gyökeres has doesn't have the best touch, right?
yeah.
But very, very difficult. But what do you think about his, I guess, impact on the game?
Gyökeres.
Yeah,
I mean, that little period of time in which both Gyökeres and Havertz were on the pitch,
yeah,
I think there was a serious tactical switch in terms of what Raya was doing on the kickoffs.
yep.
It was long ball FC as you just mentioned, and the mentality behind that was to try and overpower or
Mm-hmm.
body Marquinhos or Pacho or whoever was back there,
Hakimi, yeah.
Hakimi as well. Just trying, luck of the draw, but it is very difficult to get something like that back, with your back toward the goal, get the perfect bounce and convert that. But I think with two men up there, the thought was like maybe one would flick it onto
Flickered on
another.
together, yeah.
Um, you know, that's kind of how the first goal was scored, but obviously Trossard that was like a comedy of errors.
Yeah, yeah. It was
They were trying to
just
be intentional about how they scored to try and emulate how they scored that first
first
goal,
goal
but it's
intentionally.
intentionally.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Good point.
so very. I was kind of taken aback. I was happy with the team that Arsenal took to the penalties,
Mm.
but how they substituted and shuffled that team was kind of interesting to me. I didn't think I would see Gyökeres and Havertz on the same time.
Same time, yeah.
I felt like as they should
As
have
they should
come
have
on.
come on earlier.
It just didn't make again we got to where I thought we were probably going to land. I think they had a strong 11 going into the pens and going
Hmm.
into extra time, but how they did that for was kind of curious, and I think it kind of um, there are moments of that second half where Arsenal kind of lost their attacking intensity
Yeah,
because the substitutions just switched things up formation wise and tactically for them to the point where they just weren't really as threatening.
yeah.
Eze coming on did change things
It did change
immediately.
things. Yeah, like almost instantaneously when he came on with combining, finding use the 10, finding Noni in a couple of occasions and receiving the ball in like these areas. I don't. I mean, hopefully next year, because let's be honest, like this is not Arsenal's brand of football, but maybe now that they are Premier League champions and Champions League finalists, maybe they play a bit more free and play like trust as a more because yes, I mean we both hated that he was one of the people that missed the penalty because we actually like him as a player. But I mean, I understand. Again, we said it last episode. We kind of predicted that Arsenal are going to play like this because this is their strong suit. But
Yeah,
PSG once you allow a team that good to just keep going at you and again, like it's just not.
Yeah, that's what happens when you like you said, they've been playing a specific way this year, where when they score one goal, I mean that's they don't really pursue another goal. They're going to take the air out of the game. We were watching. They scored the first goal in the sixth, maybe
Six,
fifth minute.
yeah,
In the 20th, 19th minute, we're watching time wasting
time
tactics.
wasting
Are you
tactics.
are you are you
Shout out to the ref, by the
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
for the
yeah.
ref
Second
was
half, he
great.
was just like,
Even
nah.
halftime, remember halftime, Saka was taking his time.
Yeah,
He's
they're
just
supposed
like,
to get a
man,
corner
I
kick.
don't have time for
Nobody
this.
has time for that. That might fly when you have the PGML on your.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, we
but
move on.
either way, like it was good to see. It was kind of shocking to see like Arsenal kind of capitulate, like not like capitulate, but just kind of be reserved with playing, 10 men in their side of the pitch,
Yeah,
for 80 minutes
yeah,
against one of the best attacking sides in Europe.
yeah.
Okay, like I think frustrating at first, obviously, but I'm sure PSG was probably like, all right, calm,
Yeah,
you
in
know,
fact, even throughout, obviously they made mistakes, PSG, but I didn't sense any
panic.
over panic or urgency. They just kept
Yeah.
probing and probing and probing, and then they had that moment with Vicha and managed to cost a penalty back in the game, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're square. And
Mm-hmm.
when they equalized, Arsenal looked a little bit more
Yeah, they looked
open.
they looked meek.
Yeah,
It was like, oh well, now we can't do what
do
we
what we've been
we
doing
want to do because they are more likely to probably score a goal from open
from
play
a counter.
now,
Yeah,
or on a counter. So it was a good final. It was on a knife's edge for
the whole game.
a long, probably the whole game.
Yeah, the whole game.
But I do think you make a great point in the sense that I kind of in my mind I'm like I don't think the way that Arsenal won the Prem can be emulated for another season. I don't think it's
No.
sustainable, and I think they will experience some sort of regression as a corollary.
Hmm.
But I think you've put a great you make a great point in the sense that the way that they play normally and happily is not the way that they did it this
Yeah,
year, and they still want
one. Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So if they're able to incorporate the way that they like to play with the way that they know is
Necessary. Yeah.
necessary to win and get a result, that could create a completely different blend of
Of
uh, of,
football. Yeah.
So I'm worried, but again, I think this was I'm very happy with the result.
Oh, of course you are.
Uh,
You wear a Chelsea jersey for a Champions League
yeah,
final. Of course you are.
I'm very happy with the result just because it they've been getting closer and closer
Hmm.
in regards to the Prem, but not everybody can just you can't win the way that they were trying to win, in my opinion, the Champions League. I just don't know. I don't.
You don't agree with it.
I fundamentally I think it would have been bad for footy, but or
Yeah,
like football at large. But I again, that's just a really biased opinion, and I
opinion.
I, I do own that. So,
Yeah.
vale.
In the second, I mean, in the extra time, not too much to talk there. I know PSG kind of switched up to a back to three center defenders, and along with Nuno Mensch and Hakimi was slightly up. They changed. They subbed out Vitinha, which was shocking. Maybe he had an issue. Brought on
Yeah,
Barelda, who played a nice pen, and he played with Zaya Emery and Jao Nev still. Gonzalo Ramos was up there, and then Bacola and like you said, Due was playing throughout. So even though they switched to like a back three of sorts, um, it still wasn't really. They kind of like both teams were just gassed and wanted to go to penalties, and that's how the game ended.
yeah.
Um,
That extra time period was kind of painful to
yeah,
watch.
it was not fun to watch.
Legs were gone, cramps were being had, and what was the possession at the end of the game? Probably 70-20.
70, yeah, 75, 25, something like
Yeah,
that.
and
Um,
but
yeah,
no penetrative play from
play from
PSG.
both teams actually.
It was
PSG not from a lack of trying, but from both teams. You did mention something about like Arsenal's progression and like not winning the Champions League like that. my favorite thing, as I mean, I should speak right about Champions League as a Real Madrid fan. So what I'd say is, I mean, yes, it's disappointing, right? But I think that this is part of the course for Arsenal fans and as a club. I think that Champions League is a very, very difficult trophy to just show up and win when you're good. Like my favorite thing to always quote is like since '98, Jose's Porto, Jose's Inter, Pep's Pep's City, and it used to be Enrique's PSG, but not anymore.
Mm.
But those three teams are the only teams that have won it once during that period.
Mm.
Everybody else is a serial winner.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and even Pep, when he won it, Jose's two with Inter and Porto were kind of like one-offs. But Pep, when he won it, he had been to a final and lost already.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
and like PSG, before they won the first one, they've been to a final and lost already. So Arsenal, yes, in that same period, they've been to two finals and lost, but it can be it can be 2 decades before your next final. I think
yeah.
I think in the next 2 years, Arsenal have a strong chance of getting back here and possibly winning it. All this is part of the course.
I think it'll go the way of like Liverpool in recent years.
Yeah,
They won the Prem, then they lost a Champions League
final
final,
against us.
and then I think they, were in second for a few years in the
Yeah.
Premier League and everything, and then but still very competitive in Europe. Got another shot at it,
Hmm.
and I think they finally got
They
the monkey
finally
off the
got it
back.
done. Yeah,
So
against Spurs
of all
of
teams,
all teams.
so
But so
you do. I mean, I do think that Arsenal, though, when you look at their path to the final, you're not going to
mm,
get another like
easier.
softball like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that was again. It's I know it's just a pulling of balls out of the machine, so it's the luck of the draw. But I don't know. Bodo Glint, some of the people they
Sporting,
Sporting
Bodo Glint, Leverkusen,
in the court. We're talking round of
and then
16, QF
Atletico.
semifinal. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the only real. I mean, yeah. I don't want to be disrespectful because Bodo Glint was playing well, but
it's still Bodo Glint.
let's not take the piss.
Yeah. But yeah, congratulations to PSG, back to back champs. Enrique has now won back to back trebles, three trebles with two different clubs. We're gonna have some conversations after, maybe in the summer, about like his legacy now. Cause hey, man,
No, I mean he's him. He's really, in a different world. He would be considered in the same breath, I think, as Pep, because I
yeah,
mean, obviously, he had to take some time away from the game and whatnot.
yeah,
But I think, it's maddening to me because when we needed a manager, we were looking at Luis Enrique, Mauricio Pochettino, and I think it was Julian Nagelsmann at the time.
mm,
We were serious about all three. And Luis Enrique came with a whole presentation,
mm.
profiles on every player, how he's going to improve every player, meticulous, meticulous notes on how he was going to take us to the promised land. And we were like, this is too much.
We don't do
Like
things like this here.
drink less espresso, and like we just sent him packing. And then he basically he was hurt about it. He was upset about it. It's like this was what Fabrizio said.
Mm.
And they went to PSG, easy decision for them, and the the growth of that team from an Mbappe focus to a team that plays only about l'équipe, like
Mbappe,
just the team.
Mbappe. Don't worry, not this episode. Maybe next episode. I want a word with
Yeah.
Mbappe. I just want a word. Just a word. But
Yeah.
congrats to Luis Enrique, top coach for sure. We'll go through quick updates. I mean, I don't know if you saw Atletico going off on Barca about
I did,
yeah,
yeah.
that was hilarious on
All
social media.
jokes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's they definitely. It's funny how tied they hate each other, but there's a lot of transfers that go through both of those
both teams.
clubs.
Yeah,
They do share players from time to time, so I'm just shocked that Barcelona has the funds to be making these moves. Anthony Gordon to Barca,
that is the
um,
one of the fastest, weirdest
quick
transfers I've ever seen.
nuts. I think you got Julian Alvarez on the way, maybe, but
Maybe
they say no,
no, they said
never.
five. There's a release clause 500 m's is what Atletico is saying. And do you see what I think Arsenal, not Arsenal, Barca were interested in Kane. And do you see what Bayern's rep said?
No.
It
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
Ulionis.
yeah,
Yeah, they
it
don't have
was
the
like
money.
Kane enough for it. They don't even have the money
Yeah, they need to
anyway.
focus on themselves.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I've been saying in regards to João Pedro. I think we told Deco and Barca like politely to like
kick
he's not
rocks.
for sale and you don't have the money for him and but we'll see. But I think Barca's definitely looking to replace Lewandowski and I just don't understand why you bring Anthony Gordon and when you have Rafinha. Like,
I think their goal is to play Rafinha more centrally
okay.
because Rafinha can play. Obviously, his traditional role is on the right. Then Yamal came and he moved to the left. But like even when he played on the left, he drifted in the middle and he's comfortable playing the 10. So
Yeah.
I think the person that if Gordon starts, the person that this hurts is Fermin Lopez, which I don't
Mm,
see it happening. I think Gordon kind of plays the Rashford role, but for ADMs, it's crazy.
yeah.
I think they may think that okay, lesser wages and he's younger, so they
Yeah.
can
Sell
sell
on.
him back to the Prem,
Mm.
like for
when
ridiculous
they're
money.
done. I mean, I also heard that Rashford might still be interested in keeping him as well.
Who
So
Rash?
yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that
Oh,
would make
okay. Well,
sense.
because Lewandowski's gone.
They need, like I said, if depending on what they do with Rafinha and Fermin Lopez, as you mentioned, I don't know who if they
Danny
need.
Olmo
I don't
is
know if they need Rashi
Yeah, I
at
don't
that
think so
point.
either. And like in the beginning of the season, Rashford kind of like struggled to like adapt a
Mm,
bit in terms of like how they play in possession, like positionally. He did hit a stride. He did miss a few chances, but like, I thought he did decent for a second option.
yeah,
But hey, time will tell. We'll
yeah,
see what they got going on. Goal of the week was just one game. Havertz's goal was kind of nice. The finish uh, was was very good. I told you he was going to score. I told you he was going to start.
yeah,
Um, but so it was easy decision for us.
yeah.
Any objections? You like Dembele's penalty?
I think Dembele scored a fantastic penalty. I think Beraldo's pen was
It was
top.
that was the best penalty.
Um, no, but on a serious note, Havertz had a great goal.
Hmm.
Punched real quick. Kind of caught everybody lacking. He did the same thing for us in Porto
Hmm.
that one night. And yeah, I mean, it kind of again, his history and his career is kind of there's high profile moments woven
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
So I mean, they always call him a Rolls Royce of a footballer.
Who
Uh,
does who
that's
does
what they've called him.
who?
I've heard it before. Oh, look it up, Joe.
I've heard that before. Rolls
He's
Royce,
yeah,
Havertz.
yeah. That's what he. Yeah, he's a luxury footballer. I mean, the people have said he's like a Bergkamp, but I also
Oh no! Okay,
I
okay.
told
Let's
them to chill out.
let's move on from that because that's way too high.
You do too much.
Bit too much. But I think one thing that was interesting about this Champions League final that would make you nervous when Havertz scored that goal was this was the first time in like
Oh,
6 or 7 years that both teams had scored. So usually the person who scored first wins. And I think the last person to score in the Champions League final and lose is either Liverpool or Spurs, one of the two.
yeah.
No, it was Liverpool. It was Liverpool in 2017, 2018 against us,
Mm.
Sadio Mane. That was the last losing
First
um,
goal.
goal, like losing goal from a losing team. So when Arsenal scored, I was like, oh boy, this is not looking good. But
Yeah, it's difficult.
yeah, very, very difficult. But hey, makes for a great game. And player of the week, I still, I mean, I know he lost, and I know Vitinha won the official man of the match of the final. But I thought Raya was top, and he,
I
he
mean, he
made
played well.
yeah,
He
and he
played
made
really well.
that save against Barcola. Some like the punch away before it got to Gonzalo Ramos, the save in the penalty for against Nuno Mensch. I thought it was good.
Yeah, he was very important. Yeah, I would have to see how many passes Vitinha completed and all that
Yeah,
jazz. But I think on the whole, Yeah, the goalkeeper was great. They didn't score from open play, and he had a big part of that.
Yes, for sure. And that's it. That's it. Next, and I mean, no game to be looking forward to. We'll just be prepping for the World Cup next couple of episodes. But any last thoughts?
Um,
Go ahead, give Nelson, give us a song. Nelson, give us a song.
you'll never sing that.
Yeah.
London is, I mean, in the eyes of Europe, London is blue. It's never really been that big of a like question to me. They've just like you can't win in Europe. You never have. You never. You know, until further notice, you never will. And exciting game, but I think this was perfect in terms of humility, humbleness. Stay humble. Eh?
I think Arsenal fans, I think that yes, it's disappointing, but they need to just keep going and soon come. In my opinion, soon
Yeah,
come.
I agree there too.
Yeah, soon come. It's coming. And that's it. Thank you guys for sticking with us again. Please like, subscribe, comment, share in that order. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
London is blue.
Peace.
Allez les bleus.